What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we actually have some more breaking news regarding Social Security, what's happening, what lawmakers are discussing, and how this is potentially going to impact you. So today I want to bring you all the latest updates regarding Social Security, how this is going to affect you, and what we could potentially see in the very near future. Again, we could potentially see some changes to Social Security simply because of the federal government and their spending bill that has to be passed by September 30th. So we're going to discuss that first, and then we'll get to some of the more breaking news. But again, all I ask is if you can spend just 2 seconds, go ahead, hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and let's begin. So here's what we know. Right now, many lawmakers are fighting because they say Social Security recipients are not getting the money and the benefits that they absolutely need. And that's true. Millions and millions of Social Security beneficiaries are actually getting less money than they need just to survive. In a recent report that I read, the average benefits per month are about $1,800. You're probably thinking, because I've heard from many people saying that they don't get anywhere near $1,800. Who gets that? Well, that's the average benefit, right? So there's people making close to $4,000, people making in the $800-900s. So yes, there's an average benefit out there about $1,800. But here's the thing: the average beneficiary is receiving $1,800, but the average expenses as you get into 65 to age 75 years old come out to about $4,000 per month. Yeah. And again, even though some beneficiaries get other things as well, like SNAP benefits, and obviously they have insurance, the cost per month are $4,000. That means for the majority of Americans, they are falling short every single month. And that's part of the problem. And now that we're talking about falling short, I want to bring up something else. Because currently one of the biggest things that lawmakers are fighting over is the government spending bill. Currently they have until September 30th of 2023 to pass this bill to ensure that the government doesn't have to experience a shutdown. Whether it's a short-term shutdown or it's a month-long one, doesn't matter. It can still impact millions of people. But here's how and the reason why I'm telling you this is because I consistently get emails and comments from people saying that, well, the government can't shut down because if they shut down, we won't get our checks. So I want to be very clear on this. What does a government shutdown mean to Social Security or to the Social Security recipients? Well, first, payments are still going to continue. Okay, even though the federal government may not have the funding it's needed to continue operations, just understand that 85% of the federal government continues to operate. It's the other 13 to 15% that is considered non-essential spending, and so that is what experiences a pause. So for instance, just to give you an idea, your Social Security payment would still continue. You'd still get the check every single month. But here's where things really slow down. Your Social Security office, let's say you got a local Social Security office, that one would shut down. It would close. Okay? So the payments would continue, but if you haven't been approved yet, or there's paperwork that you need to file or something, your office would close. And so that would mean your benefits would take longer and they'd be delayed. Okay? I just want to throw that out there because I know a lot of people are kind of getting this misinformation that if the government shuts down, they get no payments. That's not true. You would continue to receive your payments. Okay? So some good news there. Now, here's where things are getting very interesting. Just recently, actually, yesterday or 2 days ago, one of the two, there was a new report that was released, and it shows how much money Social Security brought in for the year of 2022. And I want to break down these numbers and tell you where they're getting the majority of their money, where they're getting the least amount of their money, but how this is actually going to impact us moving forward. Because there's a bill out there that actually gets rid of this. So here's the numbers. First off, Social Security brought in $1.22 trillion. Okay? Decent amount. However, they are still operating at a deficit. 1.1 trillion of that came from the Social Security payroll tax. This is that 12.4% tax that you share between yourself and your employer. It's a 6.2% tax for the employee, 6.2% tax for the employer. Now, I just want to break this down as well, because a lot of people are saying, well, if we are being taxed on our payroll tax, our income, and then we're also taxed on our benefits when we receive them, some people are, not everybody. Well, that's double taxation. Shouldn't they eliminate that? Well, I'm going to get to that in just a second, because here's the thing. Even though the employee portion of the tax is considered double taxation, because get this, you pay 6.2% of your income goes into the Social Security trust, okay? Then when you collect benefits, if you make over $25,000 per year, and there's a whole formula to figure this out, talked about this earlier this week, I'm not going to get into that today, but if you make over $25,000 per year, you have to pay up to 50% of your benefits are taxable. Now, so you paid income tax, you paid your Social Security tax, right? And then you're paying income tax in the end. It's double taxation. Yes, but here's where it is not double taxation. When your employer pays their portion of the 6.2%, guess what? Are they taxed on that? Okay, are you taxed in the end? Yes. Are they taxed on that initially? No. Because they get to write that out. It's a deduction for them. They get to deduct that because that's an expense. So essentially, they're not paying taxes on that. It's a deduction. That's where things get very tricky. Okay? I just wanted to throw that out there because I know a lot of people are asking about it. Anyway, let's get right back to what we were talking about. As far as Social Security, they brought in $1.22 trillion. $1.1 trillion came from the Social Security payroll tax. $66.4 billion came from net interest. All right? And here's the big one. $48.6 billion came from taxation of benefits. Now, why did I just say this is the big one? Because this is what everybody wants to eliminate. We have multiple bills. One's a Democratic bill, one's a Republican bill, to eliminate double taxation, to eliminate Social Security benefits being taxed. Now, here's what's currently happening. There's a lot of discussions. That's about it. There's little movement as far as a bill passing, and it's because of the way that these two bills were crafted, because the verbiage inside. One of them says, yes, we are going to experience an additional shortfall because we're just going to eliminate the taxation of benefits. But how are we going to pay for that? Well, the Treasury will kind of pay for it. The other bill says, no, the Treasury's not going to pay for it. We're not going to put the burden on the American taxpayers, at least not the lower income taxpayers or the lower earners. What we need to do is we need to tax the higher income earners, and they need to pay for, instead of going up to $160,200 for the Social Security payroll tax cap, let's push that up to $250,000 or $400,000 per year. Well, that's a tough one because that's what Democrats want to do, but the main Democrat, their leader, President Biden, says no, nobody making less than $400,000 per year will pay a penny more in taxes. So how do either one of those get passed? Well, this is the reason why both of these bills, there's discussions, but there's not enough support to even get a vote on the floor, let alone pass the bill. There's not enough support yet to even get a vote. That's where things become very interesting. Now, I want to explain the next thing, because there's a new bill out there. This bill, it's from Senator Bob Casey, has a decent amount of support. Right now, as far as the supporters, we have Senator Richard Blumenthal, another Democrat, Amy Klobuchar, another Democrat. Debbie Stabenow, another Democrat. Pat Murray, another Democrat. And Senator Bernie Sanders, who's an independent but sides with Democrats. So this new bill is called the SWIFT Act. Now, the SWIFT Act, it stands for Surviving Widow/Widower Income Fair Treatment Act, SWIFT. Now, in this bill, this would simply attempt to fix outdated and arbitrary restrictions on Social Security benefits for widows, widowers, surviving divorced spouses, right? That's what this is going to do. Now, I want to show you this. This is actually from, I don't even know what website this is. But anyway, let me show you this really quick. So it says the SWIFT Act, right here, would remove these barriers and modernize Social Security benefits. It would allowing widowers, and surviving divorced spouses with disabilities to receive 100% of the survivor benefit they are entitled to, regardless of their age. It would give widowers, and surviving divorced spouses the ability to increase the value of their survivor benefits beyond current arbitrary caps. It would also enable them to caring for children to receive child in-care benefits until their children are age 18 or 19 if still in school. Require the federal government to proactively provide information to widows, widowers, and surviving divorced spouses about benefits they are eligible for, claiming options, and important deadlines. And here you go. Here are the people that are kind of co-sponsoring this. This right here, again, and I bring this up because we are seeing, and there's been bills on SSI, there's been bills here, obviously here for widows and widowers, and obviously divorced spouses. But the reason why this is such a big deal is because now we're not going over the entire Social Security benefits and stuff like that. We're going after a specific subset, okay, this specific group. The reason why this is key is because things like this actually have a little bit more wiggle room. We could see something like this pass, and we could see people go and start passing bills, whether it's in the House or the Senate, on a specific group of people, a smaller group of people, not Social Security in general. And by doing that, what could happen is once it gets enough support in the House or the Senate and it starts going up for a vote, then lawmakers can come in the end and start attaching other things to it. Okay? And so that's what some people are actually predicting at this time, is we're not going to see a massive increase to Social Security. We're not going to see a huge increase to benefits. We're not going to see a huge decrease either. But what we could see is somebody coming in trying to change the verbiage for a certain subset of people. And by doing that, once it's starting to get more and more support, then lawmakers can come in, start attaching different provisions to it. For example, maybe increasing benefits, maybe increasing the full retirement age. We don't know. Maybe increasing the payroll tax cap. All these different things could be added in the end, but as of right now, they're still discussing it. So, the last thing I just want to say is one of the other ideas that's on the table is, can we give beneficiaries an increase that matches the increase in price to Medicare, or essentially Medicare Part B, which is the one that allows you to go to the doctor and covers doctor visits and stuff like that. Well, if they can do that, that'd be great. But what kind of increase would that be for this year? Well, according to reports, what we are expecting is Medicare Part B to increase about $15 per month, which would take it to $179.80 monthly. Now, if this were to happen, this is according to the Senior Citizens League, if this were to happen, then we would also see benefits increase by at least $15 per month. So, and is that different from the cost of living adjustment? Well, nobody knows, but my guess is it's the exact same thing. So, we'll see what happens moving forward, but that is what we know at this time. That is how Social Security is changing as of right now, what is currently being discussed. All right. So if you have any questions whatsoever regarding Social Security or benefits, let me know down in the comment section below. But again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.